about it. Because I know folks said we tried the quiet route. Now it's about bringing noise and putting a spotlight and putting attention on it. You would think that somebody who is now free, back in America, on home soil, would not have too much to complain about.
Stephen A. Smith just dropped a bomb. He says the WNBA tried to pay him off to keep quiet about the Brittney Griner situation. If that's true, we're looking at something that could shake the whole league to its core. This ain't just any controversy. This is the league's...
There was resentment towards her, and here's why I said it was stupid. Because when she came into the WNBA, for 22 plus years, they had been flying commercials. They were begging for chartered flights. She arrives there, and 2 weeks later, they got chartered flights. She automatically and instantaneously improved the conditions. Attendance is still lagging. WNBA is still losing money compared to what you would hope it would earn, but clearly things are on an upward trending trajectory. It's improving, and she has everything to do with it. Attendance for Indiana Fever games? Are you kidding me? WNBA draft, games on ABC, ESPN, television ratings. She's directly responsible. And people were resenting her for it, like she was the cause of the problems that they had for the lack of recognition. No, she just happened to be born white. That's it. Caitlin Clark hasn't spoken against anybody. She hasn't assisted in denying anybody else the privileges they deserve. If anything, she's tried to provide assistance. A rising tide lifts all boats. She's trying to be the rising tide that lifts the boats. And there were sisters resentful of her. Be resentful of the system. Be resentful of the folks, primarily the white folks, who basically disenfranchised y'all all of these years before she came along, who denied you the acclaim and the allure and the profits you richly deserved. But you don't take that out on Caitlin Clark, not her. She's the one that assists you.
Nightmare. For years, fans online have been whispering the same thing, that Brittney Griner might not be a biological female. And when someone like Stephen A. speaks, the world listens. His takes go viral in minutes, sponsors start sweating, and the league scrambles to clean up the mess. Stephen A. has already clashed with the WNBA for letting players come after Caitlin Clark, saying it straight up, they're hating because she's shining. He's exposed jealousy, resentment, and flat-out bullying in the league. And if he decides to even mention the Griner rumors, that's not just stirring the pot, it's an earthquake. This ain't about clout, this is serious. The WNBA has been trying to protect its image, but they know if Stephen A. starts talking about Griner like that, they won't be able to spin it. No PR team in the world could fix that kind of heat. And let's be real, Stephen A. hasn't let up. Whether it's ESPN, his podcast, or YouTube, he's been going hard at the league. And it's not just noise. His words spark millions of views. NBA players jump in, sponsors start watching close, and suddenly everyone's paying attention. He's backed Caitlin Clark harder than anyone. He slammed the league for letting her get bullied, saying straight up that the veterans are bitter. Called it embarrassing for women's basketball. And every single time he speaks, it catches fire. Then comes Brittney Griner. Fans always bring her up when it comes to cheap fouls and dirty plays against Clark. And not long ago, she lit up the internet for the wrong reasons. Caught on camera saying something racial during a heated moment. The WNBA tried to bury it like it never happened, but people weren't letting that slide. Now picture Stephen A. going off about that on his show. Then imagine he throws in that other rumor, the one that's been floating around for years. He wouldn't even need to say it straight. Just a little hint would be enough to blow things wide open. If he ever speaks on it directly, it wouldn't just be headlines. It would be a full-on scandal. We're talking about a situation that could pull the whole league into a storm they might not survive. This rumor's been following Griner for years. It won't go away. Online, people break down everything. Her size, her strength, how she dominates physically, and how she stands out from the rest of the league. Every time she dunks, the comments start up again. The league's tried everything to shut it down, but it just keeps coming back. And now that Stephen A. is circling the topic, things are getting way too hot to handle. Things got heated, fast. That argument between Stephen A and his critics had fans going wild across the internet. Some thought he was standing up for the game. Others said he was just riding a viral wave. But one thing's for sure, when Stephen A speaks, it gets loud. You can hear the tension in every word as both sides refuse to back down. Then came the blowout with Sue Bird in late 2023. Sue tried to hype up the WNBA's playoff ratings, saying the league was finally getting more attention. Stephen A, he shut that down quick, called her take disgusting, and said the league needed to stop pretending like their numbers were good when they clearly weren't. That back and forth exploded online, proof that even WNBA royalty doesn't get a pass when Stephen's on the mic. At one point, you can literally hear Stephen A snap. He went all in, ripping apart her defense of the league. He wasn't holding back, not for Sue, not for anyone. But the WNBA's problem isn't just what's trending on social media. It's what's happening behind closed doors that's got them really nervous. Word is, some players are ready to speak out. They've had enough of how things get handled, especially when it comes to favoritism, shady discipline, and who the league chooses to protect. There's serious talk about how stars like Brittney Griner seem untouchable. When things get dirty on the court, some players feel like the league's more focused on saving face than keeping them safe. That's a huge issue. One fan even called it out in a viral video. Said straight up the league is shielding Griner and making sure nothing negative gets out. That's wild. And this couldn't be happening at a worse time. Sponsors have been throwing big money at the WNBA, expecting clean growth and good press. But now, with drama popping up left and right, Griner's controversial moments, wild fouls during games, tensions boiling over, investors are starting to get real uneasy. People aren't just worried about one player anymore. It's the whole system that's under the spotlight. This ain't about dodging headlines. It's about survival. The league's image is cracking, and fans can see it. Stephen A hammering the WNBA right in the middle of all this, it's no coincidence. That's why folks are saying something major might be coming. This whole thing's feeling like a powder keg, one more explosive story, and the WNBA could be in serious trouble. Stephen A used to stand by Brittney Griner, no questions asked. When she said she needed space from the game, he respected that. He didn't add to the chaos, didn't go in on her like others did. Maybe it was loyalty. Maybe it was just sympathy. You could hear it in his voice. He truly gave her grace, talked about understanding what she was going through. But that patience, it might be wearing thin now. Because there's way too much building up, too many reasons for him to finally let the truth loose. Let's not forget, it's not just the WNBA that's been guarded. The NBA and Adam Silver have had the WNBA's back for years. If Stephen A finally speaks out, it won't just shake the WNBA, it'll embarrass the entire NBA too. And with Disney owning ESPN, there's always that quiet pressure on him to play nice, stay in line, keep certain topics off the table. There's probably perks involved too. Exclusive access, premium interviews, brand deals, even behind the scenes rewards, just to make sure he never touches the one subject that could blow it all up. Adam Silver's already shown he's keeping the WNBA on a short leash, working with team owners, steering everything behind the curtain, making sure nothing spirals out of control. And Stephen A knows exactly how the media game works. If he speaks on Brittney's gender directly, he risks everything. Even if he came with evidence, folks would flip the script fast. Brands could drop him overnight. Activists would call him out. The narrative would switch from Stephen was misled to Stephen's attacking Griner, just like that. But here's what makes this moment extra dangerous. The WNBA isn't just dodging rumors about Griner anymore. They're battling their own locker room. This year's All-Star Weekend, it wasn't all fun and games. Players came out wearing shirts that screamed loud, "Pay us what you owe us." The whole squad turned the spotlight into a protest, showing just how sick of the money gap they really are. Union leaders like Breanna Stewart and Natasha Cloud didn't hold back either. They torched the league's contract offers, calling them flat out disrespectful. And insiders, they're saying a lockout could be on the way before the 2026 season even tips off. There's a moment where Breanna even opens up about the pressure these players are under and why so many of them are done playing nice with the front office. So now imagine this, Stephen A holding on to all these receipts, waiting for that one perfect storm. Maybe the next time Griner gets caught in another incident, another wild foul, another comment she can't walk back. That's when he pounces, but not as the guy lighting the match, as the one connecting the dots, showing everybody just how long this fire's been burning. Every time a new piece of evidence pops up, every time controversy swirls around the league, Stephen A holds back. He doesn't dive in head first. He watches, he waits, and that silence, it says way more than words ever could. He's never come out and said it directly, but he's dropped enough hints to keep everyone on edge. On his podcast, he's teased that the real talk about the WNBA is still coming. On First Take, he's thrown out little bombs, quick lines like, "The truth always comes out," and just leaves it hanging. That's why the league feels like it's walking on glass. One wrong move, and it all crumbles. A lockout's creeping in. The battle over money's getting ugly. Sponsors are holding their breath. And through it all, Brittney Griner's name keeps popping up, and not for the right reasons. The league keeps trying to spin the story, but the spotlight won't move. And here's the scariest part. If Stephen A finally decides to go all in, if he ever breaks it all down, from what he's seen to what he knows, this won't just be another PR mess. The WNBA might not survive it, period. If you made it this far, hit that like, subscribe, and don't forget to turn on notifications because this story is just getting started. You don't want to miss what's coming next.